Hi everyone, I'm Shaylin here with Reedsy. Today I'm going to be sharing 7 ways that you can level up your writing process. These are just a few strategies that you can implement in order to get more out of your writing process, whether that's making it more effective, more efficient, or just more well suited to what you need. Tip number 1, have a procrastination project. Procrastination is something that a lot of people deal with. So sometimes it can really help to have a procrastination project, which is a project that you work on when you're procrastinating your main project. If you're writing project A, but you feel like procrastinating it with project B, then you can work on project B for a bit and still be productive. And then when you get to the point where you're kind of tired of project B and feel like procrastinating, you'll end up working on project A. Working on multiple projects at a time doesn't work for everyone, but for those of us with a bit of a short attention span who like to jump between projects and maybe tend to procrastinate a little, maybe you want to roll with that. Maybe your short attention span is telling you something, such as that variety is important for your writing process. So having a procrastination project that you can work on when you want to procrastinate your main project can be a great way to turn your procrastination into something productive. Tip number 2 is to build associations. If you build associations with your project, that can help you get into the mindset of your project and get to writing quicker. For me, the main one is with music. I like to create associations between songs and different projects that I'm writing. So I can listen to a few songs from my project playlist and it will immediately get me into the mindset of that book. It just immediately cues me to start thinking about that project. You can create associations with anything. For me, music is definitely the most obvious one. Creating associations can be a very, very powerful way to immediately pull you into the writing mindset. Tip number 3. Study your energy flow. What time of the day do you tend to be most productive? Are you more of a morning person and right when you wake up is the most productive time of your day? Or do you tend to be a night owl who's most productive at night? For me, I know that my most productive time is more around the afternoon. That's when I feel the most awake and the most engaged. So I know that that's the best time for me to write. But you can also study your more long-term energy patterns. How long can you typically write without needing a break? Can you work on one project for weeks or months without needing a break? Or are you better writing for a couple days than taking a couple days off? Start keeping track of these things. Really study the way that your energy flow works so you can create a writing process that's adapted to it and will probably be most effective. And along with that, tip number 4 is to keep a process log. This is like a journal for your writing process. When you encounter problems, write down what's causing the problem, what the problem is, and when you find a solution, what's worked. Make notes of the highs and lows of your process so you can better understand what's causing them and how to avoid those lows next time, or how to recreate the highs next time. You can learn a lot about your process by studying it a little more closely. You don't need to write in your process log every day, just when you feel like there's something relevant that you want to pay attention to and can be valuable to learn from in the long run. You might start to notice trends, things that typically put you into a bit of a slump, or things that tend to create your best days of writing. Once you know these things, you can implement or avoid them as needed. The next tip is to keep trying new tools to see what works for you. This could be switching up your writing software. Maybe you've just been using the same writing software for as long as you can remember. Maybe you want to try something new. Sometimes you'll try something new and it won't work, but at least it gives you a better idea of what will work for you versus doesn't work for you. For example, about a year ago, I tried Scrivener. I'd never tried Scrivener before, and my takeaway was that this is a great program, but it's just not for me. I have a pretty simple writing process, and so a more complex software doesn't work for me. I need a simpler software to match that my writing process is also fairly simple. But you can also just try new tools that you make yourself, different types of notes or outlines or charts or character profiles. Keep trying new things and making new adjustments, because sometimes that's the only way to know what will work best for you. The next tip is to keep challenging yourself. If you feel like you're in a bit of a writing slump, try challenging yourself to try something new. As much as I don't recommend pushing yourself beyond capacity, I do think that challenging yourself can be one of the most motivational things out there. What's satisfying about a challenge is when you're able to overcome it. So whether that's challenging yourself to write more, or challenging yourself to try a new form or style of writing, or just doing a little challenge where you try to write every day for a week or a month or something like that, whatever you feel would benefit you and just be a challenge for you. Sometimes that's a really great way to get yourself out of a slump and learn new things about your process. Because doing something that's challenging and then achieving it or overcoming it can be very, very motivating. Although it can be easy to get very comfortable when you find a writing process that works for you, and ultimately that is a great thing to know what works for you. Sometimes finding what works for you and just sticking with it without continuing to challenge yourself can also lead to burnout. You can start to feel a little bored. Sometimes the best way to break out of that is with a little challenge. And finally, find ways to make writing fun. One of the easiest ways to discourage yourself from writing is if you frame your mind to view writing as a chore. If you frame writing as a chore, then it won't be something you want to do. So if you can frame writing as something that is fun in your mind, you'll want to do it more. Try and create parameters around your writing sessions that make them fun. And that'll be different for different people. For me, that's not having any kind of schedule or word count. As soon as I have a schedule or word count, it feels like an assignment to me. So for me, not having any kind of goal actually makes me want to write more. It makes it more fun. But this is really up to you. Think about how you can make writing more fun, because ultimately that's what's going to motivate you to write more, because you enjoy writing, you view it as a fun task, something that you love doing and that you look forward to doing. And that's going to be a lot more effective in the long run than if you train your brain to view writing as something that's a chore and that you have to force yourself to do. So those are just a few tips to level up your writing process and get more out of your writing process. I would just like to know what little tip has leveled up your writing process and made a really big impact on you. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos from us. We've got new writing, editing, and publishing tips every Friday. Until next time, bye.